Whether you are thinking about becoming a restaurateur or you are already in the business, Michael Politz has written a must-read, The Food and Beverage Magazine's Guide to Restaurant Success. Pick up your copy today at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Books A Million, or wherever fine books are sold.
Food and Beverage Magazine Live, bringing food and beverage to life with your hosts, James Beard Award winner Jennifer English and Food and Beverage Magazine publisher Michael Politz. Featuring leaders in the hospitality, branded food and beverage, and CPG industries, many of whom are Jennifer and Michael's friends in the business. For an informal and informative conversation where friends in the business share the latest intel, ideas, and best practices. Live, juicy inside scoop from the tastemakers, newsmakers, bread bakers, drink shakers, spoon lickers, clam diggers, farms, foodies, and friends of the food and beverage magazine world. Here are your hosts, Jennifer English and Michael Politz.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm going to welcome you with a sip of bubbles. Some of our favorite bubbles here at the Food and Beverage Media World. I'm Jennifer English, and I'm the editor-at-large of Food and Beverage Magazine. And we're going to talk today to one of our favorite friends who is in the world of wine and spirits. He is somebody who has brought to life some bubbles. Now, everybody that knows me knows that bubbles are like one of my favorite things of all time. And there's something really interesting about the Provocativo brand because they are really one of the most forward-thinking and in their collaborations do things that I think are really good examples for all brands. So in a sense, theirs is leadership by example. I'm really thrilled to have Hans Christian Holst on the show today. He's the CEO of Provocativo. And as you can see from the big bottle of celebration ready to happen behind me, he joins me in wishing all of you not only a hello, happy summer, but a summer of moments worth celebrating. And that's what we're going to start by talking about today. And we have a big announcement. So with all of that news, hello and welcome. Bienvenue.
Fantastic, Jennifer. Great to be on your show again. And thank you for the introduction. Yes, it's time for celebration. It's summer, it's the beautiful weather outside. And there, as you said, there are a lot of things going on. And you need to be in the forefront of the industry if you're going to do something spectacular. And right now we are doing something spectacular and getting into the NFT space.
There's a lot of awareness if you're aware of it. And then if you're not, it's not even on your radar screen. Let's start by talking about why, as a marketing moment, post-COVID, in the world of the future of food and drink, did you feel like Provocativo needed to amplify some of the existing strategies you had to begin to weave into what you do some of these really cutting edge techniques and using some of these really revolutionary Web3 tools to connect with your audience?
I think that, we always try to do that. It's not because of end of the pandemic. When we developed the brand, it was, we wanted to stand out. That's why we started with Magnums, only size matters. And of course, you go into celebrities, which we will do, and are on the final stage of signing some celebrities as well. But I think you need to be innovative. And if you look at what's going on in the metaverse today, and that everybody talks about NFTs, but they don't understand from a marketing point of view what it actually could mean to you as a brand. But some of the big brands has definitely jumped on it. It's Gucci, LVMH, Prada, whoever there is in fashion. But in the wine and spirits industry, it seems like people are holding back, and we think right. We need to move first. And yes.
No, I couldn't agree more. I pay a lot of attention to the space. There have been a couple of brands that have made some early steps in the very accessible, especially in North America, part of the market. Brands like Chipotle, for instance, they were one of the first to do an NFT. But they're still very limited, and there's very limited crossover and bridging and connection in our industry. I think a couple of the beer companies have done something, but alternatively, the most successful projects have been aimed at the luxury market. There's something about the idea of luxury and this space that goes hand in hand. What did you see as a fit before we make the big announcement that you're going to be launching in a couple of days? What did you see as a fit here for the luxury side that maybe everybody else is missing? Because you're genius at seeing things that other people are missing.
No, I think, looking at you, we talked about sparkling wine. Where do you drink sparkling wine? You are at, fantastic venues around the world. You can go to Formula One, you can go to nightclubs, you pop the corks. So what we were thinking, we wanted to, amplify that feeling when getting into, the NFT space, and actually utilize the NFT space to make sure that everybody can get the feeling of luxury. And that's what we wanted to link with the bubbles, the luxury feeling, but also create a club which is accessible for people. And meaning that, if you sign up for an NFT with us, you could actually get access to a lot of different places. But I will get back to that when we do the announcement a little bit later in this program.
So let's remind everybody what we love about Provocativo as a sparkling wine, as a size matters, magnum celebration size bottles. Talk a little bit about where you saw an opening in the market for just this kind of world-class big bubble.
First of all, if you go into the supermarket at Publix or Albertson, you walk down the aisle, you see probably, I would say 95% of all the sparkling wines are all 750s. Right. And then we said, we wanted to stand out, and that's why we developed Size Matters. Jennifer, bubbles are also better when they are in the big formats. They mature better, and we saw that as a competitive advantage, and was easy to communicate with the consumer. So that was just one, and that's why we always try to be ahead of the game when we're adding social media relations, or now again getting into the NFTs, and again trying to partner with somebody, and getting back to your question, partner with somebody who could amplify the luxury feeling when we're popping the bottles.
Can you talk a little bit about the luxury category? And in many respects, I consider Provocativo to be an accessible, affordable luxury, because there's really, every day is worth celebrating as far as I'm concerned. And I think that lifetime is filled with moments worth celebrating. But this really is one of those experiences and brands that says, celebrate with bubbles. And there's always something to celebrate. But in particular, when you're celebrating life's big moments, can you talk a little bit about that historic connection between celebrating and bubbles?
The historic connection is that, if you go to weddings, you go to Italy, you go to Spain, you go to France. If you go back to, the French Revolution, you see bubbles everywhere celebrating. Even if in hard time, people, they pop the bubble to celebrate the good things which were in even if it was in hard times. So I think, and going back to the 20s, the 30s, you see people starting popping more and more bubbles, and everybody was then aiming for, the millennial shift in the 2000s. Everybody said that would be the peak of bubbles. But then it's interesting that bubbles just keep on growing. And if you look back for, I think, the last 10 years, the category in itself has grown with 56 to 58% as a category. And we're talking billions and billions of bottles and cases going out of any kind of winery around the world. So I think from a historic perspective, people likes to celebrate life, and when you pop the cork, you get that kind of feeling, and when you drink bubbles, you feel happy. And that's why I do believe that from an historic point of view, and also today, that people just feel that that makes me feel good. And of course, the taste needs to be perfect as well.
And one of the things I love that you recognize, and it may be like a wine nerd kind of a thing, but magnums allow the bubbles inside to just get better and better and better. I know people will say that it's not noticeable, but they probably aren't drinking enough comparatively. This is something that I think is really important. And this also gives you, when we talk about the large size format, every 750 just has like 5 or 5.5 glasses, but a magnum gives you upwards of 10 pours to celebrate with. And this really lends itself to parties and celebrations. Can you talk a little bit about where in the sort of product and market fit for Provocativo, where you are both on premise and off premise for people to find you. Where do you celebrate as Provocativo?
So what you will see now, you will see that we're expanding rapidly. Of course, we're online into 42 states in the United States. You know, we can find us at Hard Rock. You can find us very soon on Virgin Cruise Line and many, many other places to come. But what we're trying to do is make sure that we do all the announcements with all the different nightclubs, the partners we are signing up, and actually doing that in conjunction with launching the NFT. So I will hold back on a few other names right here because, it's all about surprise, when you're going out in the city, New York City, where we're going to go. And then, Provocativo will announce, let's go to this nightclub, my NFT card, gets us in there. So that's where we are making sure that when we have an opportunity, as we're now utilizing the NFT as one of our marketing tools, of course, we will be at every single Polo ground around the United States, since we are partnering with Major League Polo. And then getting back to luxury, who plays polo? That's the guys who usually drive a nice car and have a horse and lives in a nice home, and they are traveling around the world. And usually they are on a private jet or go to a private concert, and that's where we try to fit in. So getting back to where will you find us? You will find us anywhere where there's a party going on and actually where there's a good experience to be had.
Let's talk about your big announcement, because I'm super privileged and excited to tell people about this. You and Major League Polo have an announcement to make. You've got a partnership and a collaboration, and you're jumping into the future together. It's really exciting. Can you share the news with us, please?
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that. We are extremely excited to actually be the first mover in the bubbling space to get into NFTs. And I will get back to NFTs because I do believe it's a fantastic marketing opportunity, but also going to be a fantastic asset for the consumer holding the NFT. So we have made a collaboration with probably the lead lady within NFTs in the United States. That is Kimberly Casey Carr, who is also the CEO of Major League Polo. And we do believe that there are two luxury brands which actually meets. It's Major League Polo, which just is luxury, and Provocativo. And we are launching NFT and dropping the NFT in a few days. And this is actually going to be an NFT, which is much more than just a digital image. It's going to be a platinum club where we will add benefits to the holder of the NFT as we move forward. That could be nightclub accesses, there could be backstage passes for celebrity concerts, it could be access to polo matches, private concerts. We have a lot of things going on. We have our own project team just working close with Kimberly and her team to make sure that this NFT, when it's launched, it will add solid benefit to the holder of the NFT, and of course to both of our brands, which is Major League Polo and Provocativo.
Let's tell people what Major League Polo is in the broadest sense, because we may have a lot of foodies who aren't as familiar with the polo side of things.
So if you, polo, if you are riding a horse and hitting the ball, you're playing polo. And the Major League Polo was founded by Kimberly back in 2006. And today they have 300 fields across the United States. They are, they have broadcast agreements. They are a place where you can go and watch, fantastic entertainment in regards to sports, seeing fantastic athletes riding horse, having a game going on. But at the same time, you can be sitting or standing on the sideline, sipping a glass of sparkling or your favorite drink and enjoying a fantastic meal, or some places they have barbecues. So basically, it's a very social setting. Polo is actually much more than a sports event. It's a place you go with your family. You can bring your picnics to certain fields and watching a game. It's just an incredible thing for, as you say, for foodies and for connoisseurs liking, a good drink, but also having some entertainment going on at the same time. So that's why the perfect fit is between Major League Polo and Provocativo.
Now, let's talk about some of the sort of access points for people, because if somebody has never gotten involved with NFTs, but they've maybe heard Jimmy Fallon and Paris Hilton talking about it, or they've been walking through Times Square and they looked up at the billboards and they were everywhere. They've seen it and maybe they've heard a little bit about it, but they're just unsure about how to get started. This may be as good a place as any to get started with access to and it's the world of Web3. It's really the future for all of us, the inevitability. Maybe you've heard Gary Vaynerchuk, who's actually in the wine business,
Yes.
talk about, what he's doing with NFTs and his restaurant that's an access through an NFT. Talk a little bit about how somebody can get involved. How can we acquire one? And how, I mean, I'm on behalf of the audience. Can anybody acquire this platinum pass?
Anybody can sign up for our platinum card. And we have a white list. The white list is where you actually get assigned an NFT. But before, I would like to just explain a little bit what you said. Everybody heard about NFTs, and most people have like associated NFTs, like a digital image. You can buy it and then you can sell it. And that has basically been it. But you now see that the Gucci's, the LVMH, everybody jumping in, and they're jumping in for a reason, because people want more and the consumer wants more. And if I said to somebody, if I do an NFT for dummies, with an NFT card, the Platinum Club we are developing, it can be said as simple as this. It's a tradable asset. You can sell it and you can buy it, but it gives you access to a lot of different things. So it's like owning a share in a company, but owning a share in a company, you don't get access to anything. You're lucky if you make some money or lose some money. But in regards to our Platinum Club we're doing together with Major League Polo, you get on your whitelist, you get hold of our NFT, which will give you access to nightclubs, to discounts on specialty cruises, on the backstage passes, and a lot of other things we are doing. So let's say that you are going to New York City with your friends for the weekend, and you will get into the nightclubs. So you buy the NFT card, meaning the Platinum Club, and you go to New York City and you go in to all the nightclubs and restaurants. You get the concierge service, but at the same time, getting into Monday, you want to sell your NFT and you can sell it. So it's basically an asset, a share you own, but at the same time you can sell it and utilize the benefits. And I think people are now, when you look, there's a reason why people are jumping on this, because people would like to be in control of their own life. And by having the NFT, meaning you get access and you don't want to have that access, or you think that didn't live up to expectation, you will sell it the next day. So I think there's going to be a high demand and deliverables from the people developing the NFTs to deliver the service to the people having the NFTs, and only the best people is going to win. And that's where we would like to be the first to actually open that gate, get people to access our Platinum Club, and meaning that we like them to hold on. So of course we would like to communicate with them, invite them to a private wine tasting, a bubble tastings, but it is something also you can sell when you're done with it. And it's not like a frequent flyer program, but it gives you a lot of the assets at the frequent flyer program, but it adds value. The more we do for the NFT holder, the more value it creates for the NFT holder, and they can sell it if they don't can afford to have it anymore, and they can make some money.
Can you talk a little bit about this particular project, the partnership with Major League Polo? How many NFTs are you producing for this version, and how do we access it?
So we have, the one you had up on your screen. You can put yourself on the white list, and then when we drop, everybody gets an email which are on the list. And right now we have had a solid sign up, but that there are a lot of cleanup in list. A lot of people sign up and they don't want to do it. Right now we have, it looks like they have a solid oversubscription, I would say, if you use the more like the corporate language. But you can sign up, and then it will actually be dealt with when we are launching it and dropping it later this week.
So let's talk about, can you announce what the price for this is, and how do we purchase this? Do we use a credit card? Do we have to purchase it? Is it tell me some of those things, because I'm sure people are really interested to know.
Yes, you need to have a wallet, a crypto wallet to access NFT. And I can't announce the price of the NFT yet. There are still a few layers of things we need to do before we drop it. We are adding a lot of tangible physical assets to the NFT. We are adding definitely some nice polo gear, but also a bottle of Provocativo. And of course, when you're doing that, we need to have an age gate and make sure that we are, everybody on the list is, 21 year or older. So there's a lot of things to be done before we do the drop and actually can announce the price. But of course, when you have your wallet, that's how you pay for your NFT when we drop it, and you will be notified by email when it's actually dropped, and you have access to sign up and get your NFT.
Okay, this is super exciting. I am thrilled that this is happening, and this is literally dropping in a couple of days. And the community that you're building is built around Major League Polo, of course, but this is just the start. And I'm going to imagine that there are many ways that this is going to come to life for people. And if you are a leading edge person, and if you have this sense of what it means to truly be provocative in the most powerful, positive sense, this is going to be a beautiful moment for you. Not only can you enter the future, but you're really going to have access to things that haven't even been dreamed of yet, with a company that's already proven itself to be one of the most celebratory in the category, with a product that's utterly delicious, but is literally celebration in a glass. To me, I've been waiting for this moment. I'm very excited to be able to, and for the privilege of announcing this and having the honor of making this announcement. The website where people can go to access the whitelist and get their name on it is scrolling across the bottom. It's provocativo.com, NFT age gate. And that's so important because, of course, this is a spirited wine that you have to be 21 for. What is the most surprising thing and what is the most provocative thing that doing this very provocative promotional advance into the future has brought to Provocativo, the brand, and you as the CEO?
I would say that, first of all, I think, I was, I didn't know too much about NFTs. I always tried to be on the forefront and everything. But what I've probably been most intrigued by is actually meeting people like Kimberly at Major League Polo, which have basically been able to understand the metaverse in a completely different aspect than anybody else, and been able to utilize in a way where athletes makes money, the NFT holder makes experiences, at the same time financing developments of their different projects. So what has been the most surprising to me is actually the opportunities which I've learned within the NFT space from Kimberly. And I think, as you said, I think this is only the start. And I think you can communicate in a completely different way than, so you thought that social media was, the leading edge. But if you talk to people now and talk to Kimberly, NFT is actually where I do believe most things going to happen. And I advise everybody into the owner of Gucci, and listen to how he talks about, the future of the metaverse and digital assets is all about NFTs. Because you can communicate, you can curate things, you can get people access to special collections, people can sign up to get benefits, and you get the benefit right away. And that's why NFTs are so special, that you get the benefit and actually also get the increase in value if the guys like Kimberly and myself and Major League Polo is doing the right job, which we are certainly going to do. And I think everybody going to be positively surprised when they see what we have coming for everybody.
Well, I'm going to go head first, and I'm going to go all the way in the deep end of the pool here. Let's talk about the most sort of nebulous part of this idea that's maybe the most exciting, and that's the metaverse. Can you imagine the Provocativo party house and celebration house in the metaverse? Are we going to start seeing the polo fields in the metaverse? Are we going to see nightclubs and party venues in the metaverse, all under the Provocativo brand?
Right now, I do believe that's actually where we're going to head, because if you look at what are happening right now, look at, gaming, 2.4 billion people gaming. And nobody thought that you will have competition in gaming, 10 years ago. So I do believe that the metaverse, in regards to Provocativo, Polo, celebration, but at the same time, having those things in the metaverse, but at the same time bringing the product back home, and actually drinking it when you are experiencing these things in the metaverse as well. So I think, I think it's only scratching the surface. And I think when I again talk to people like Kimberly, which has been in this setting for a long time, we haven't even started, and that's why I'm so excited to get going.
This is so early. It's super early. I've been in this space for a couple of years, and there have been people that have been doing this for even longer, but we are so early. It's just literally this. We're not even at the starting line for what's going to come next. And that's what makes this all so exciting. Let's remind everybody one of the things we love about Provocativo. It's a beautiful cava, which is a Spanish sparkling wine. And it has its own essence and flavor that I think are absolutely exquisite. And then the spirit of celebration and the spirit of hospitality in every sip. Would you share what you think would be the perfect toast for this moment, for making this big announcement today?
I would say that the perfect toast is actually, I say one thing, the most important thing is to celebrate with family and friends. So I would make a toast to all the families and friends out there, and always say, if there's hard times in life, there's always some, fantastic, beautiful days out there to be celebrated. So toast to the beautiful days which are out there, and toast to a fantastic talk with Jennifer. I appreciate that one.
Listen, we always love getting a chance to visit with you. I'm frankly a little bit greedy for your bubbles. They're delicious, and there's certainly something that is on my radar screen for celebrating. I love the idea that in the summertime, I'm going to give you a couple of serving suggestions. We love serving it in a big glass with a few ice cubes because it keeps it cool and it becomes very refreshing as you're celebrating wherever you are. And as the heat waves spread around the world right now, there is really something cooling and lovely about this. And as you mentioned, as there is in so many parts of our lives, those moments when we need to be bolstered and encouraged. I think the quote was something like, in success, you deserve it, and in defeat, you need it. But the idea is that this will give you that beautiful, magical lift. But the bubbles are celebration in a sip. So I can't thank you enough for being here. And I can't wait to join your Platinum Club with this. This is very exciting. I hope everybody gets a chance to do so.
You should, Jennifer. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
How did you meet these fantastic men? Ian, Paul, it's so lovely to have you here with us. Welcome. And I raise my glass to welcome you. Welcome. The incredible Vanessa Hudgens and Oliver Trevina. Hello and welcome.
Hi.
Cheers.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Talk about the fact that the incredible Padma Lakshmi is joining us. Our extraordinary friend Diane Meena joins us from her home. Jeremiah Tower, who joins us today from his home in the beautiful Merida, Mexico. He joins us now, Chef Ming Tsai. Aloha and welcome.
What's going on, Jen? Good to see you.